Yeah. So this tricking of the cells so that they don't become fat, but they become bone cells. So we're going to be talking about, of course, vibration and vibration therapy. But are there any, because maybe, some listeners are now, oh, okay, now I have to go to the gym and I have to go there and and I don't like it. So, what is actually in your research or in your opinion, what does it count as an exercise that is helpful for our bodies?
Well, that's another loaded question, if I may say. But if I could put it in sort of a metaphor, if you're listening to this podcast right now and you're laying down, you should sit up. And if you're listening to it sitting, you should stand. And if you're standing listening to this, you should walk. And if you're walking listening to this, you should jog. So every step up is an improvement. The bonus of this, though, is that you don't have to go out and play tennis against Venus Williams for 4 hours per day. That your cell systems are more like light switches than bank deposits. So that once you turn on the correct signal, you get the benefit of the response. So, long story short, run to the bus stop, don't walk to work. That intense stimulation is a very, very quick way to turn on that light switch and to get your cells listening. So, yeah, I'm not going to talk any of your listeners out of going to the gym because, as much as we may hate going to the gym, we always feel better after we're done. And then we justify having a beer on the beach in our bikini, thinking, well, I look great, don't I? And you really can enjoy that beer as well deserved. But you got to get off the couch and you have to do something.
Yes. Now let's talk about this vibration therapy and your research. So tell us, what is actually this slow vibration therapy?
Okay, let me see if I can tell you how I got there, which might
Please.
might help. So as you can see, I'm pretty passionate about mechanical signals. I mean, we all need things we're passionate about. I'm passionate about mechanical signals, and through nature, I've learned how important mechanical signals are. And to go back to someone like Venus Williams, who played tennis with her, there's a perfect example of the opposite of the astronaut. Professional tennis players have 30 to 35% more bone in their playing arm than the arm that throws the ball in the air. So that's telling you that the racket arm is sensing something about hitting the ball that's sending a signal to the bone and causing it to build up its quality and quantity. So that's good. Question is, what is it? Is it because Venus practices for 8 hours a day, or because she hits the ball so hard, or she hits it so fast? What is it? And so what our research has done is we tried to distill down from exercise what's turning on these cells. That's sort of the quest of the me as a basic scientist. And so what we found is that not only is an intense signal important, but that it can only be given in short doses. Long doses of super intense activity can actually turn out to be bad for you. Think of football players and, sort of percussive injuries to the brain. We have to be worried about that. But at the same time, what is it that we all as humans do most of the time is we stand around. We're not off playing tennis for 4 hours a day. We're standing for 5 or 6 hours per day. And then we start to think about, is standing important? And then think about the muscle, the antagonistic and synergistic muscles that help you stand up and help you balance and stay upright. That your muscles, in reality, when they're contracting, they're very inefficient motors. They're actually vibrating when they contract between 20 to 50 times per second, or 20 to 50 hertz. So when I pick up my coffee, or later this afternoon when I pick up my beer, what's really happening is that my coffee cup is shaking very, very slightly. You can't see it, but because it's an inefficient motor, as I'm pulling the coffee cup to my mouth, my bone is being bombarded with these little teeny high frequency signals. Well, it also turns out, to go to the beginning of our conversation, what happens to us as we age, that not only is there osteoporosis, symptomatic bone loss, there's osteopenia, the process of bone wasting, getting to osteoporosis. There's also sarcopenia, muscle wasting. So as we age, not only are we losing bone, we're losing muscle. And it turns out that we're losing specific components of our muscle. We're not just losing muscle mass, we're losing muscle fiber types or muscle quality. And these postural muscles that hold us up, this 20 to 50 hertz vibration that's bombarding our bones, they're the first muscle fiber types to disappear. So if you stick with me for a second, if you're willing to give me a little poetic license, what I think is that these 20 to 50 hertz, really, really small vibrations that are the predominant mechanical signal that your bone sees, that as we age, it begins to disappear. So the reason that even if we're exercising when we're 60 or 70, that our bone isn't responding as well is because A, remember, our marrow has changed and there aren't as many stem cells to become bone forming cells, but also the nature of the mechanical signal itself has changed. It's less of this 20 to 50 hertz signal. So how we got into low intensity vibration is a long 30-year story that brings us to this point of saying, wow, maybe if we just put that low intensity signal that used to be muscle vibrating, if we put that back into the system, maybe we can trick an aging system or an inactive system into thinking that it's still out playing tennis with Venus Williams. So the point of standing on this sort of bathroom scale or a pizza box that puts in this barely perceptible mechanical signal is not that we're silly enough to think that vibration is going to build up our bone, but rather that vibration represents a surrogate for muscle contractibility, or what's called the power spectrum of muscle contraction. We put it back into the system, maybe we can trick the cells into thinking that it's being in a very, very active system.